Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up a Facebook text overlay grid tool inside of Photoshop. You've probably had this scenario where you created your ad for your image, tried to put a little bit of text on there. You ended up uploading it, trying to make it go live, and then Facebook said, sorry, can't use it. You have more than 20% text, and you're wondering what's going on. Then you find out about the grid tool. And as you can see, the grid tool gives you an option to upload your image. And once you finish reading all of that stuff, what you'll figure out is that you shouldn't have more than 20% of text. You shouldn't have more than 20% of your image containing text. And you can see you have your rows, your 5 rows across, and your 5, you have your 5 columns across, and you have your 5 rows down. And you can see I already uploaded an image, and this one says, does this image contain too much text? Logos don't count. You should be good with logos, depending on how your logo looks and whether Facebook likes it or not. But as you can see, 5 boxes selected. Based on the boxes you've selected, your image is covered by 20% text. If marked properly, this image may be used for an ad on Facebook or Instagram. Now check this out. Select one more box. Now you hit 24%. If marked properly, this image may not be used. And what you want to keep in mind is that you might be able to get away with it. Like if there's just a piece of text right there, you might get away with it. You might not. It just depends on the day. But for the most part, you want to make sure that your stuff stays within 5 boxes. Now, they don't have to be connected. You can do 5 boxes. You could do 2 here, and then 1 here in the corner, and it's still 20%. And it just depends on how it looks and how it's set up in the image. And I'm going to show you how to set this grid up inside of Photoshop. It's not going to be selectable, where you can select all of the boxes, but you'll be able to visually see the grid, and you can see the boxes inside of Photoshop. And I'm going to show you how to set it up easy. Now, I already have this set up. What you would do is you would set up your image to whatever resolution you'd set your image up. So what do I have? Yeah, link add. All right, cool. And I think this is 628. All right, cool. And then you would just set up your image, and we don't have any guides set up here. So what you would do is you would go up to new guide layout. And with this selected, I already have a preset set, but what you would do is you would just make sure that columns are selected and rows are selected. And you want 5 columns and you want 5 rows. And you see it's already set up. You may have some extra stuff, like you may have gutter number inside of here. Just make sure that yours looks like this, and you should be all right. Just make sure, just delete any numbers inside of here. Just make sure it's 5 by 5. Now, what we're going to do is not just going to hit OK, because I have a preset set up, and I'm going to show you how to set up the preset. All you would do is just go down here to save the preset, and you can already see I have mine FB 20% grid. And I could share this with you, but I want you to learn how to do this. So all you would do is just type in name, and then you would just press enter, and then that name would be selectable right around here as a preset. Then you would just go, you would press OK. Then you'd come over here, and let me see. No, I don't want to make a mask. I want to make a color, just so I can show you what I did over there. All right, cool, just to make sure we do that. And then you can see your boxes. You can see that you have your rows and your columns. And then you would just be able to visually see. Let me see. We're just going to, I could have just made a new text inside of the other one, but I decided not to, so yeah. So I just want to make sure it's the same size. Okay, cool. So now what you can do is create your image with the size in mind, with the percentage in mind. So if you wanted to do it inside of these 4 boxes, you just keep everything inside of here. And you could probably also, since these 5 boxes at the bottom equal 20%, you could probably just duplicate that and have that much text inside of there. And Facebook should let you go, because these 5 boxes, 20%. As long as you do not have it like this, because now you have these 5 boxes and these 5 boxes contain the text, and that's definitely too much. That's like 40%. And clearly the limit is 20%. But if you keep everything inside of these 5 boxes, now it could be these 5 boxes, it could be these 3 and these 2, but it's just good now that you can see the 5 boxes that you need and stuff like that. And as you can see, what we already have set up over here, this is the image that we have set up that I use for right here. And now you automatically have the grid inside of Photoshop. When you want to see your image, you just press Control H. That'll hide your guides. And if you press, that way you could just get in here and just worry about your image and stuff like that. And then if you press Control H again, you could bring up your guides. You already have your presets set up. You can visually see what 20% is. That way you already starting off from a good standpoint instead of guessing whether it's going to work. Trust me, you start making a bunch of ads for Facebook. This is definitely going to come in handy. Messing around, I used to see what the image dimension was, and then I'd divide that by 5, and then I'd make a box, and then I'd pull out the guide, and then I'd do like this, and then I'd move the box to right there, and then I'd do that, and I figured out it's so much easier just to go up there, and remember it's in the new guide layout options. Now, this is also great because once you have that preset set up, it doesn't matter if you do an Instagram ad, like say you do an ad for Instagram and it's 1 by 1. Now, I'm going to just come over here and put a color just because I want to, but I don't really need to. I mean, all right, cool. Now, we don't have the guide set up. So if you press Control H right now, you're not going to see anything. So we still go over here to new guide layout. And you can see the new guide, it's not set to any width. Like if you had set the width, then it would be locked into that. But right now, it's just saying I want 5 across and 5 down. So whatever dimensions you have, it's still going to proportionately size itself proportionally, a 5 up and 5 down. And you're already good. So you could just come in, it's off of that one preset. So then we just come over here. And if you still want to hide it, Control H, bring it back up. That way you can make sure that you have your 5%. And if we uploaded this one, because I'm pretty sure, let me just make sure and duplicate this layer into number 3. And then we are going to make sure, because we already know that it's going to work because you put the 5 here, you make sure that it's 5 across. So even if it's 5 all the way across here, and then let's just export this. Let me see, IG, and just so I could, IG add grid test, just so I can make sure. I shouldn't have put that one as capital. I don't like that. All right, cool. So now we see IG add grid test. All right, cool, perfect. All right, so now we'll go back into Facebook. We'll upload the new one. And the 1 by 1 resolution also works if you're going to do carousel ads and stuff like that. Or if you're just going to do an Instagram ad. We're just going to upload this one. And you can see that when we select these 5, it's covered by 20%. If marked properly, this image may be used for an ad on Facebook. Now, depends on how your text is set up, it might get rejected. You just got to make it a little bit smaller, but you'll be in a better position because you'll already have the understanding ahead of time instead of just guessing. And like you go to make your image, and sometimes you make your image just the greatest image, and you think the money's going to rain from the sky as soon as you get this ad up, and then Facebook just rejects your ad because it has too much text. And like, what are you talking about? It doesn't have a lot of text, but you can already get a visual representation when you're creating your ad. Now, I don't know what software you're using to create your ads. You use whatever you want, but inside of Photoshop, it's obviously this easy. Like Photoshop is super easy to use. Just go over to your new guide layout, and no matter what resolution you choose, your 5 by 5 is going to size proportionately or accordingly and proportionately. Well, While I figure out which one of those terms I should have used, you can go ahead and make yourself some ads inside of Photoshop. Now, obviously, the easiest way to make sure you have less than 20% is to not put any text in there at all and just use the headlines and the body copy and stuff like that. But you know what? If you want to get fancy, put some text inside of your creative for your image, for your Facebook ad. This is the way to make sure that you set up your guide, and it's super easy. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Definitely follow me on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you could join the conversation. You can stay updated with any new videos and all of that. And until next time, create yourself some ads and watch some more tutorials. Learn something. I'll catch you next time.